Hello guys and welcome back to EasyPy 3. In this final lesson on variables, you're going to learn how to use them to do calculations. You may have heard of the quote, "A problem well defined is half solved." What it means is that it is important to understand what the problem is before we start to solve it. With that in mind, let me break down what Pythagoras' theorem is. Feel free to skip ahead if you already know this, but I just want to explain it so that anyone who has forgotten it or doesn't know it can be on the same page as the rest of us. Okay, so the theorem goes like this. If there's a right angle triangle and we make squares on each of the three sides, call it A, B, C, then the biggest square, the C side, has the exact same area as the other two squares added together. We can see that it works because 9 plus 16 is 25. The longest side of the triangle is called the hypotenuse. So the formal definition is the square of hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Hence you have the formula a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. How is this useful? Well, if we know the lengths of two sides of a right-angled triangle, we can find the length of the third side. Let's look at an example. For a right-angled triangle with a side of 21 and another side of 72, find the length of the third side, x. So you're given two sides and asked to find the third side of a right-angled triangle. Now let's show you how you can solve this in Python. Start by opening up a new file. And the first thing to do is write the values that we already know. So we know that one side, A, is equal to 21. And we know that another side, B, is equal to 72. And we know that the formula c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Now we need to figure out what x is. Now in maths, the opposite of squared is to square root it. So we need to square root c squared. And whilst there's no arithmetic operator for square root, in maths, putting a number to the power of 0.5 is the same as square rooting it. So we're just going to go ahead and write x is equal to c squared to the power of 0.5. And finally, we're going to output the result. So we're just going to write print x is equal to, and then if you put a comma here, you can put your second argument, which is x, and this will print it together with a space. Now, if you save that and run it, you get x is equal to 75. Fantastic. Now that you have an idea of how to do calculations with the variables, you can go ahead and do the coding exercise to strengthen your understanding.